What's going on, guys? This is Chase Mcallister, the host of the Cut to the Chase podcast. I'm your host, my man. We have Will Rodriguez here, CEO of. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Financial leaders.
Financial leaders. I had to ask this because I had written it. I had asked him to ask me. I wrote it down too quickly. I didn't get to press save, so it's not here for me, and I'm the asshole. But Will, without further ado, let's cut to the chase, my man. If you had a 50% chance to win $1 million or $10 million,
Okay,
and a 75% chance to win $1 million, what would you take?
I mean, I'm not a betting man, but I'll take the first option.
Awesome. Tell the people who you are, who you serve, why those people are important to you, and maybe just run around of who you are for the people that don't know.
Yeah. A little bit about me. My background comes from business to business sales. I transitioned from doing that to raising capital for mortgage notes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's pretty much when you buy a house, the bank gets the loan and then holds it for a period of time. Then after maybe holding it for 6 months, a year, whatever, they start selling to other banks, especially if they stop paying the mortgage. And that's what I was doing. I was raising capital for investments, having people invest into a like a JV, and then we would obviously split on the commission or on the yield on that investment. So that's what I was doing for a period of time. Very interesting. I learned a lot, connected a lot with a lot of people, a lot of investors. But I feel like my heart wasn't there, so I transitioned to financial services, and that's what I'm doing now.
Very cool. Now, what are you primarily focusing on in the financial space?
Yeah, right now I'm actually focused on IULs. My team does annuities. Haven't really dived in too much into that, but we're doing final expense and mortgage protection as well.
Very cool. Cool. So I see your content all the time. You're constantly out there. What is one thing or one tip you could probably give an agent that's maybe reluctant to get their face online, or even an IMO owner, a brokerage owner that's been very reluctant to get their face online? Maybe you can just talk about the benefits you've seen from doing so, and what has been maybe some obstacles you've gotten over, or you could help somebody get over.
Yeah. So when I actually started raising capital for investments like 2 years ago, I noticed that by being online, being on video, I mean, it took me maybe 6 months to raise my first 800,000, right? So that's through the power of video. So now transition to financial services, I'm like, it makes sense to be on video, to promote yourself. And I feel like there's always that fear of like, how am I going to sound, right? What are people going to think of me? And for me, like, it's still there, but I don't please people, right? I'm doing content because there's people out there that I can touch, that I can service, and that's really what I have in mind. I don't have people like, I'm not like wondering, okay, like what are people going to say about me all the time, right? And another point too is if you don't promote yourself, who else is going to promote you?
Exactly.
Right? You're not obsessed with building your brand. Your teammates, right? Your broker, whoever you're working for, is not going to promote you. So you have to take the initiative and promote yourself through video, through posts, through social media, networking. Obviously, I prefer video as well.
Very cool. Now, when did you start in? So I guess it's just been a couple of years getting into the insurance and the financial space. What has been some obstacles that you've overcome in that? Where did you start? Were you doing face-to-face when you started as an agent, or were you doing a lot of telesales? Kind of give us that approach. Even raising that 800,000, was that strictly online and through digital, or meeting people face-to-face to do that?
Yeah, great question. I've been in the industry now for less than 6 months. I know people are like, I think you've been doing this for like years. I'm like, I just started, right? And I would say mainly everything is done through Zoom. I think in 2020, everything just went virtual.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is awesome because I was already used to it when I was raising capital. So making that transition here, doing over the phone, doing Zooms. very convenient. You don't have to drive. So again, that's another reason why I went into the space opposed to like, becoming a real estate agent, right? Going that route. I felt like this year was better for me, better for my family. Mhm.
Very cool. What do you think is the most essential thing for an agent, maybe starting out on a daily basis? What should be the main focus of any new agent? You're 6 months in. You're clearly producing some decent numbers. I would imagine. What's been the catalyst to that?
I would say be coachable. Find yourself somebody that can hold you accountable. Is
Yeah.
is that your upline? Is that your broker? Is that somebody that you could trust? Because we all have blind spots, right? And we all get caught up in okay, this is what's comfortable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens often, not only in life insurance, but just in business in general, right? We get so caught up in something that may be working or may not be working, but we want to
Yeah.
make it our bread and butter. I had it with some mentors are like, hey, you're doing a $10 an hour task, and you need to start, building. You need to start delegating. You need to start outsourcing because you're trying to take on everything.
Yeah.
And the more they speak to me, I'm like, okay, I got to cut some stuff off. And every week I have to evaluate where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I'm progressing. So I
Yep.
would say for new agents, that's crucial. Be coachable, find a mentor, find somebody that you align yourself with, that you could trust, that that can speak into your life.
And I would also counter that as like find a process that works before you go and try to hire dialers or anything in that sense. I would obviously really make sure that you know the process yourself too before you start automating it, because you'll be sitting there with headaches and headaches because they didn't do the job properly, and you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
blame them. It's
right.
it's on the processes you give too, right?
No, absolutely. And that's where it comes down to like having a good team, right?
Yeah.
If you're completely independent, I get it. Maybe that person's already experienced, but if you have a team, you got to leverage the team. That's one thing that I learned to leverage. There's a book called 1 Minute Millionaire. I don't know if you heard of it,
Yeah.
but it's about using other people's time, other people's money, other people's experience, everything. I'm like, wow, like I need to start doing more of that
Yep.
because we get so caught up in what we're doing that it's hard to see out of our bubble.
I guess going back to the coaching, have you spent any money on coaching, or have you put basically most of your money goes back into your coaching? Where are you investing your money and your time right now as a new agent that's already become successful?
Yeah, so I think even prior to coming to life insurance, I have invested in coaches, not invested like as far as in money, but making connections with high caliber individuals. Like I have a mentor that teaches people how to run YouTube channels, and I used to do work for free for about a year, right? Editing and stuff and being in the back end as a staff, helping him like whatever he needs and he needed. And right now, because of the work that I did essentially for free, I can just call them up and have a problem, or if I'm thinking about doing certain type of videos, just give them a call, send them a text, and get instant feedback. I have another mentor too that I developed a good connection with back in San Diego. He's the manager for IT for Walmart, and he's really about progressing 1% every day.
Mm-hmm.
1% every day. And I mean, just every time I connect with them, he's always giving me more things to do, more things to like not do. Right? We were evaluating a business plan together. I have multiple mentors that I could call on and rely on to guide me. So,
Can you maybe speak to the fact that like where you are, what you've done in the insurance space? Have you done a lot in AP? Is there anything you want to boast about? Maybe just give some facts, put some facts for some people in respects of any sales targets you've hit or your team has hit, and what's maybe been the catalyst of those things.
Yeah, I think just starting on for me, I was very I would say I was just testing the waters, if I could be honest. So the first 3 months, 4 months, it's been more like I want to make sure that the carriers are like A-rated, right? Good carriers, because you hear so many things of different insurance companies, and me coming from like raising capital, everything has to be aligned with the people that you're serving.
Mhm.
And for me too, I was in an agency that I just left that is like captive. Like it seems like it's independent, but it's actually captive. Um, I'm not gonna go into like
Yeah.
saying everything, but I walked away from that, and I'm like, whoa, like I have freedom now. So even though I built a small little team there, now I'm rebuilding the team, right? Before it was like, hey, leads are bad, doing ads, funnels, anything of that nature is it's like a sin.
Yeah.
So now I'm transitioning to like, no, like tap into like the things that you know, right? So for me, I'm like, wow, this is this big blue ocean where I felt like this company, right, had everything dialed in. And again, people are successful there, but
Mhm.
it doesn't work for everybody, right? The system
Nope.
doesn't work for everybody. Because I mean, in order to get a lead, warm lead, you have to recruit and tap into their warm market, their top 25, top 50, whatever. That's the only way to generate leads. For me, I'm like, I'm kind of against that from the very beginning. So I was always pushing back. But like I said, now I transitioned to another brokerage where I got the ability to, not only buy leads, which I haven't done, and right now I'm working on my funnel, so I'm getting everything, lined up. So as far as the success story, I don't have a big success story because I feel like I'm rebranding, revamping, building the team, setting up all the structure in the back end. So that's pretty much where I am.
If
Very
there's something you would have done differently in the first 3 months of this business setting it up, what would you have done? And if there's problems that you've arose or have arose that you would love to have bypassed, what would they have been?
I think from the very beginning, I wouldn't have joined that agency because that makes them out, to be honest.
We
Like,
won't name them.
we're not gonna name them, but I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Like, in order to get promoted, you have to like uh, enroll your grandma, your mom, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That's not business to me. People are
No.
investing 2 or 3 grand to just get a promotion, a higher comp, but yet they weren't making any money. So I was stuck there for a while, right? And again, it's shame on me for staying there that long. So I would say for the new agent, before you go anywhere, right?
Mhm.
Um, just make sure you align yourself with what the agency is doing, right? If they're
Yeah.
saying independent, verify that information. If they provide leads, ask them about what type of leads. Are they exclusive? Are they recycled? Right? So I think you got to ask yourself, you got to ask questions before
Yeah.
moving into anything. Mhm.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, if you want to leave the audience with anything, and if they had something, you would want to give like, one pro tip, you want to leave them with, what would it be?
Um, I would say have a vision
Okay.
and have it crystal clear on what you want to do. Um, and then everything that you do, make sure that you're working towards your vision because everyone's always going to have different agendas, right? If you go to one team or another, or you talk to one expert or another, they're going to say you on final expense, mortgage projections, annuities, so many different things. But
Yeah.
everyone always has an agenda. And you got to make sure that your agenda doesn't get compromised because someone's always going to try to influence you into there. So that's one thing. Keep the vision crystal clear. The other one is have a level of urgency, right? And that's what I noticed that even for myself in the beginning, because I was so skeptical of the industry, right? I was still like tippy-toeing. But I was as soon as you feel comfortable with what you're doing, meaning that the brokerage or your upline, the industry in general, then double down and 10x your business. Have a level of urgency because if you don't, you're gonna get stuck.
Hmm. Very cool. Very cool. Have a quick. I've been asking some guests this, kind of back and forth. You can tell me no. It is pre-recorded, so you can tell me no if you don't want to answer it. But can you describe to me what infinite banking is in less than a couple sentences?
Well, when it comes to infinite banking, people leverage a permanent life insurance policy, a whole life policy to become their own bank. So the moral of the story is you set up a permanent life insurance policy, you borrow against, and let's say you're a real estate investor and you're getting, let's say 10% cash on cash on a property. And you're getting, let's say 8% return on your IUL or your permanent coverage. From there, you borrow against it. So essentially, you're double dipping on your money, right?
Yep.
And that's something a lot of people don't understand and
Yeah.
people are skeptic of. But big investors do this. It's very normal. And that's, how they leverage, credit, how they leverage debt, how they leverage life insurance to create wealth.
Very cool. Very cool. For someone who may be listening that has a problem you could solve, what would be that problem and how would you solve it?
Well, what do you mean? Can you get more specific on that?
Yeah. So if somebody had if there was somebody that wasn't an insurance agent listening, because we do have folks that aren't insurance agents, maybe you can give us a pretty example of if there's a problem that you could solve, what would that problem be and how would you solve it? For example, maybe the final expense or mortgage protection product.
So just like example, like final expense. I'm trying to make sure that.
Yeah, I know. So if you had, or even like if you wanted to promote for agents, if you wanted to promote like what your agency could do for them, if you want to recruit or promote to recruit, kind of leaving that wide open to you.
Oh, like recruit like people to my. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
for someone who may be listening that has a problem you may be able to solve, what would that problem be and how could you solve it, my man?
So again, it all depends. I get a lot of messages from agents saying, "Hey, like, I don't have the mentorship where I'm at. I don't have leads available for me. I get things like, can you help me with video, promote myself, help me promote out there." And so when people come to me, I really ask them different questions, see where they're at, and then from there, see if what I have aligns with them. I would say I'm getting a lot of, because of social media, people are coming up to me and they want to work together. Even if their comp is like, 2 times as much as bigger than mine, it doesn't matter. I think as long as you solve problems, give that value. I mean,
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it
doesn't matter.
for sure. I think it comes down to like training as well. Like, I mean, having an upline that can support you in a way and teach you in a way that you understand things, and then give you that support. I think that's where a lot of agents struggle, is they don't have the upline that actually takes care of them in that sense, trains them enough and gives them the knowledge that they need. And they're kind of just left to their own. So I'd have to agree with you in that. Like, it's
yeah, I mean,
big problem in the industry right now.
Yeah, when people come to me and we talk, I said the first thing we're gonna do is a business plan. We're gonna do like your first 90 days. What does that look like? We're gonna reverse engineer. If you're into social media or if you're doing some video, let's do some video, right? Branding. I put together financial leaders right there. That's my branding. But I help them create theirs, get their voice online. And then from there, we figure out, okay, is leads the best approach? Maybe it's your warm market just to get your feet wet. What does that look like? We have to run some funnels. What is your budget like? Right? If you have no budget, okay, we gotta think differently. And again, I take different things from different IMOs, right? There's something good in the warm market, right? But there's something really good in buying leads, right? Leverage CRM. So we look at everything and we figure out what is that strength from that individual, and we want to make sure we double down on that.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, in respects of what you do right now and in the mortgage protection and insurance space, is there something that for people that don't really want to know how to get a hold of you, where do they get a hold of you? What's your website? What's your handle for the people that haven't seen your content? Where can they follow you? Yeah. Are you on Instagram, TikTok? I think you're on TikTok. You got to be on TikTok.
Yeah, I have to be on TikTok.
Yeah, you're blowing it up. You're blowing it up.
So they could follow me on Instagram at official Will Rodriguez.
We'll make sure we put that right here, guys.
For sure. Or if it's TikTok, is at financial leaders with only one L. On Facebook, Will Rodriguez. And I'm going to launch my YouTube channel in about 2 months.
Very cool.
So that's going to be coming soon.
What's going to be on the YouTube channel?
Well, the YouTube channel is I'm gonna take more of the approach of entrepreneurship. I'm gonna talk about marketing, negotiating,
cool.
A lot about entrepreneurship, not just life insurance. I'm gonna throw some life insurance things in there, but I'm not gonna focus on it completely.
Very cool. Very cool. Best advice you've ever received?
Best advice I have ever received was before I got married. This guy told me, don't have expectations, have zero expectations for one another. And I'm taking that into business, because if you are my mentor, if you are my friend, if I rely on you, and I have an expectation, you could fail me, right? What if I was promised coaching? What if I was promised whatever the case? I have zero expectations on friendships, on business associates, because for me, I hold no bitterness, right? I expect nothing from anybody. But for me, I understand that, and that's why I'm just better off because of that.
The next question is the worst advice you've ever received.
Follow your heart.
Give us some explanation to that one.
Follow your heart. If I go to my friends that are not doing business, and I complain, man, like I'm putting a lot of work. I'm putting 60 hours a week. Man, it's hard. They're gonna tell me, you know what, bro, just get back, right? Just chill. And so if I follow my heart at that point, I'm gonna fail, right? I've thought of giving up so many times. My emotion sometimes tells me not to do certain things, right? Investing 10 grand on coaching or a CRM, a system. Like my heart says no, right? But that's what I have to do. So that's why I say, don't follow your heart, follow your vision.
Very cool. I love that. I love that. Well, Will, it was a pleasure to have you on, man. I'm not going to take up more of your time. You're a busy guy. You got lots of content to produce. I'm going to throw, again, your handles right down here. But if you want to just shout them out real quick, I'll make sure that they're floating underneath you while you're saying it.
Awesome. Official Will Rodriguez for Instagram. Awesome. As Financial Leaders on TikTok and Facebook, Will Rodriguez.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure to have you on. I hope to have you on again soon. Let's see you in a year, 2 years from now. If you're at the status we're at right now, 6 months into this thing, I can't wait to see where you're at 2 years from now, man. And it's a pleasure as always. And I hope to have you back again soon.
Future is bright.